Welcome everyone to PMI North India Learning Byte series of webinar. PMI North India chapter brings you its next webinar on spiritual healing for improvement, focus and transformation shift. In today's COVID era, there is tremendous pressure on everyone to deliver. This session will enlighten how to be effective in your chosen professions and enable us to strike work-life balance that holds a big place in making one productive and successful. This is right time to shift. Are you ready? The session is presented by Brahmakumari Sister Shivani, who is Raja Yoga meditation teacher. She is practitioner of Raja Yoga meditation of Brahmakumaris for over 20 years. She has empowered people to overcome issues of emotional distress, depression, and relationship conflicts with her practical application of spiritual principles on TV program Awakening with Brahmakumaris. Honored with Woman of Decade Achievers Award by Chance Ladies League for her excellence in empowering spiritual consciousness. Delivered many episodes on living values, self-management, inner powers, harmony in relationships, law of karma, healing, self-empowerment, self-discipline. About PK Organization, Spirituality and Art of Living. Appointed as Goodwill Ambassador by World Psychiatric Organization. Brahmakumari Sister Shivani will share tips on managing emotional well-being and mental peace with respect to self-relationship and everyday situations. She will share spiritual principles to help stay focused at work. Over to you, Sister Shivani.
Thank you so much, brother. Om Shanti and good morning. Since about, I think, a decade or more, we had been talking about emotional quotient at work. So we shifted from the IQ to the EQ and we said emotional quotient is very important. Even though we had started talking about it, even though we had put it as our focus, I'm not sure we were really working on it or no, because it's something we need to work on. It's something we need to pay attention to. It's something which needs our focus on a daily basis. But it's interesting that now we're talking about spiritual quotient. Why it's very important? Because actually, it's a little difficult to achieve a high emotional quotient without working on your spiritual quotient. Now, when we hear the word spirituality, some of us distance ourselves from it and say, no, I'm not interested in spirituality. And some people even say, I'm not spiritual. Now, that's where we need to really understand what the meaning of spirituality is. And then we'll know how spiritual each one of us is, because each one of us is truly a spiritual personality. Spirituality does not mean what I wear, what I eat. Spirituality means how I think, how I feel, how I speak, and how I behave. Spirituality is all about taking care of our intentions, thoughts, and feelings. And so, if I want a high emotional quotient, which means that my thoughts and emotions are always aligned, are always right, and are always independent of situations and people's behavior, then it's only possible when I nourish myself spiritually on a daily basis. So, spiritual comes from the word spirit. Spirit means the energy, the consciousness. Now, it's something we haven't seen, but it's something we experience throughout the day. We know the brain. Medical science can show us how the brain looks, but ask a doctor to show you how the mind looks, and they cannot show it to you over there. They can show you every part of the body, but they can't show us the mind because the mind cannot be seen. And yet, we don't ask for proof from anyone. How do I know there is a mind? I've never seen it. I don't have to see it. I'm feeling it throughout the day. So that's the energy. That is consciousness. That can be called soul, spirit, whatever word we would like to use. More important is the understanding that I'm not just this body and everything that I do through this body, but it is this I who does everything through this body. That I is that energy, the mind, the intellect, and our sanskars. Now, if we just look at our typical day, a day of 24 hours, we spend almost all our time in the doing, in everything that we're doing, which is very important. But what about taking care of the one who is doing everything? The doing is important, but who is doing it? It's like a phone. A phone is able to do most of our things today, whether it's communication, whether it's entertainment, whether it's commerce, whether it's business. We can do so much using our phone. So the phone can do a lot of things, but the phone can do all that only when the phone is charged. Similarly, I the being, can do everything perfect if I, the being, is taken care of. So, why are we talking about spirituality in a work context? Why are we saying spiritual principles in order to create focus, shift, and transformation? Because it's really the I. It's nothing outside. It's the I which is doing everything. Since the time this COVID situation has come onto the planet, a lot of people together started saying that fear and anxiety is normal. If we were taking care of our emotional health, if we were living with a high EQ before COVID, then we would have never said fear and anxiety is normal, because fear and anxiety means a low EQ. Fear and anxiety means low emotional health, a low emotional immunity system. So, what is emotional health? Let's check our emotional health. Take 30 seconds and check your emotional immunity system, or check your emotional health and grade it on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1, very low, and 10, high, perfect. Now, what would be the criteria of how we grade our emotional health? 1, very low, 10, perfect, high. Criteria. So I'll just share the criteria and you keep ranking yourself. Just keep ranking yourself random from 1 to 10. What number are you giving yourself? First sign of emotional health. We are the creators of our thoughts and feelings, irrespective of situation and people, which means there can be a crisis outside, but we are calm inside, which means people outside may not behave right, but we think right and behave right, which means we are able to remain stable even if everything outside is going wrong, emotionally independent of the situation and people's behavior. Check yourself. Are you reacting to people and behaviors of situations? Are you reacting or are you responding? Are you able to choose your response, or is your reaction dependent on the quality of the situation and the behavior of the person? Check. This is very, very important to check, because the more we react, our emotional health gets depleted. Check. Last time I created anger. Last time I created worry, irritation, fear, jealousy. Did I believe it's my creation? Do I believe I can change it? Or do I think it is dependent on the outside world? Need to check. Because if we believe that this inside world is dependent on the outside world, then this inside world is not in our control. Then this inside world is not in our control. And if the inside world is not in our control, then our emotions will always be dependent on situations. And then our emotional health needs to be worked on. It really needs to be worked on. So this was the case even before COVID. Even before COVID. It's not just during COVID, it is before COVID. So if we just rewind and we go to 2019, where we believed stress is normal, irritation is normal, impatience is normal, criticism is normal, comparison is normal, worry is normal. All these normal, uncomfortable emotions labeled as normal. Uncomfortable emotions labeled as normal was like calling a disease normal. And because we called the disease as normal, we did nothing to heal ourselves. And because we did nothing to heal ourselves, the disease only increased. And that means emotional health went down. It's nice that a lot of people are now talking about the new normal. But what is the new normal? New normal only doesn't mean work from home, less of travel. That's not just the new normal. What is the new normal here? On the mind. And that new normal is actually the true normal if we create that normal. How can an uncomfortable emotion be normal? How can a disease like diabetes, hypertension be called as normal? How can depression be called as common? How can divorce be called as ha, ye to hota hi hai? Everything uncomfortable started being called normal. And this is not history. We're talking just about 10, 20 years, only 10, 20 years. We're calling uncomfortable experiences as normal. The first thing that spirituality will teach us is all these emotions, starting from a simple irritation to hatred, to resentment, to aggression, to not being able to forgive, not being able to forget. There, this whole range of emotions is all an emotional disease. It's an emotional disease. And this emotional disease, over a period of time, vibrates to the body and can manifest as a physical ailment. This emotional disease, over a period of time, can manifest into a mental health issue. So, important for our healing is to heal ourselves at the emotional level. At the emotional level. And for that, we need to be first clear which is the disease and what is health. What is emotional health we're talking about? So, anything, any feeling that makes us feel very comfortable with ourselves and people feel comfortable with ourselves, that feeling is the healthy feeling. That emotion is the healthy emotion. So let's create our feelings which are health and our emotions which are disease. The list of disease we know, right from irritation, stress, worry, anxiety, jealousy, comparison, dependent on public opinion for feeling good, seeking appreciation, endorsement, acknowledgement, wanting to be motivated. Matlab everything needed from the outside world meant I am emotionally dependent. So this whole range of emotions is actually not health. What would be health then? Calm, stable, accepting, self-respect. Self-respect, not competition. Cooperation is normal. Compassion is normal. Forgiveness is normal. Empathy, letting go, forgetting the past, gratitude, not complaint. Gratitude is normal. So these are high vibrational frequencies here, high vibration, and those are low vibrational frequencies. So before we start healing our mental health, depressions, and all those, and our physical ailments, before we start healing the planet, before we start healing our relationships, and before we create those miracles at work, we will need to create the miracle inside with our emotional healing. The first step to that is to shift from being emotionally dependent to becoming emotionally independent. Next week, we'll be celebrating Independence Day. And it's nice. We're celebrating the Independence Day of the country. It's not Independence Day of the self. We need to celebrate that day. It's independence. When is it going to be that day that I'm going to be independent? Me, physically independent, financially independent. What about emotionally independent? So today is 8th, exactly 1 week to Independence Day. Let's take up a 1 week challenge, a 1 week attention, that 1 week of emotional independence. It'll have to go one day at a time. Each day's task, I am an emotionally independent being, and which means throughout the day, different situations, different behaviors, targets, and pressures, everything in the outside world, I choose my response. I choose my response, and I choose the healthy response because I want to build up my emotional fitness. So I choose the healthy response, which means doesn't depend on the outside world, doesn't depend on people's behavior. I choose my healthy response. So let's begin it as a 24-hour homework, 12 noon to tomorrow, 12 noon. Come what may, whatever may happen, I'm going to be stable for 24 hours. Doesn't mean I'm quiet, not saying anything. It just means I will say it with calm and dignity, with stability, respond with stability, just for 24 hours. And once we do it for 24 hours, then we pick up the next 24 hours and the next 24 hours, and we do it for 1 week. And by 15th August, it will be not just Independence Day of the country, it will also be Independence Day of the self. In Hindi, the word is very important, Swarajya. We say Swarajya, Swatantra. So it's beginning with the word Swa, in. So Swarajya means Swapar Rajya. I am a master of myself, my mind, intellect, sanskars, my sense organs, I am the master. That is Swarajya. So let's practice Swarajya for 1 week and then truly celebrate Independence Day. So it's just a little attention that even if I create anger, I'm not going to say they irritated me. I'm not going to say उन्होंने मुझे गुस्सा दिला दिया. I'm going to take responsibility and say I created it. This was my creation, not it was because of them. When we say it's because of them, we give the power away. And we literally believe that the world holds the remote control to my state of mind. This is not true at all. Don't give your power away to people. Don't give your power away to people by believing that they choose how we are going to feel. So, emotional independence. So, even if you get irritated, even if you get angry, just in your mind, don't say it's because of them. Say it's because of me, and then change. And then change it immediately. We're not going to wait for them to change, for us to change, because we're emotionally independent. So, 1 week practice shifting from being a life of victim to situations and people to becoming a master over the self, to achieving that Swarajya. Why this is very, very important? Because this will increase our emotional immunity system and that will enhance our physical immunity system, and not just of the self, but it will build up the emotional immunity system of the entire family, and it will then have a ripple effect on your team and your organization, and together the organization will take care of the emotional immunity system of every individual of that organization. It's important to talk about, okay, we want our people to develop, to deliver their best and to achieve. Actually, this is not the time first to talk about what people can deliver and achieve. It's first important to take care how are people feeling. It's been a long time, a time of almost 3 to 4 months of many minds creating fear and anxiety. We need to first take care of people's minds before we want people to deliver. We're only cannot focus only on what the people are going to do. Need to focus first on how people are going to be. Not everyone who's going to come back to work is going to be the same that they were in March. Not that they were with the best of health even in March emotionally, but some of them will be a little weaker than what they were in March. But they wouldn't know about it. It will not show on their face. It's going to be here. So we will need some time to first heal each other, to understand each other, and then gradually to empower each other to then to start deliver. If we as an organization, as leaders of organization, if right now we start focusing first on what they're going to deliver, we might make a mistake. We might make a mistake. It's like someone has injured their foot and we're going to tell them to run a marathon. That's being unfair. Unfair to the person, to the individual, and also to ourselves. It's not the right karma. So first to see whether everybody is emotionally fit, and then gradually to do that hand holding, and then to begin that run. We were running till March. But things have not been the same. So we have to heal ourselves so that then we have that capacity to run the right way now. So very, very important to take care of ourselves and to take care of people, because the vibration in the country and the world is also not the best vibration right now. Millions of people creating fear and anxiety. Can you even visualize millions of people creating fear and anxiety? What's going to be the vibrational frequency of our city, of our country, and of the world? It's fear and anxiety. So even if I am fine and I'm feeling perfect, I get influenced by the energy around me and I will start saying, oh, pata nahi kyun dar lag raha hai. That's what is happening with a lot of people. So we have to nourish ourselves on a daily basis. What COVID has taught us, very, very important lesson, health of mind and health of body is a priority. Priority. It's not one of those things which are to be taken care of the day we have time. हाँ मुझे time मिलेगा तो मैं कर लूँगी कर लूँगा. It's not that. It's a priority. Most of us take care of the body. Now we will only add one more dimension, taking care of the mind. When the mind is healthy, which means emotionally healthy, then it's calm, it's clear, its ability to be creative, to be intuitive, to think different, and most important, to be able to adjust and adapt with people, to be able to empower other people around us. This will increase. So we need to make health of the mind a priority. That era where we said, I'm too busy, I don't have time, needs to change. That needs to change, because that's one lesson we have to take now. Why did we get the lesson from COVID? It's the lesson is not coming from COVID. The lesson is coming from how we responded to COVID. COVID was a physical problem. It was a physical ailment. Most of us were in locked houses, safe, but we were not able to manage our minds. So that's the learning. That's the learning. We were not able to manage our minds. We were just not able to stop the worry and the fear and the anxiety, which means I need to heal myself. Situations will not always be my way, but my mind needs to be calm because my mind is going to face the situation. So let's put emotional fitness as a priority in our daily routine. It cannot be one of the things. It has to be a priority in our daily routine. And when we start doing it, then the children of the family will start doing it. Very, very important for children to do it. Look at the steep rise in mental health issues, anxiety, panic attacks, depression. Is this really going to be the result of all our efforts and hard work of so many years? We are working so hard, all of us. Is this the result that we want to see of all our efforts, whether in ourselves or whether in our children? So where did we make a mistake? Where did we make a mistake? It's only that we were focusing outside. So let's start taking care of our mind. Simple steps, very, very simple steps, which we can adapt into our lifestyle right from today. And once you adopt it into your lifestyle, you will be able to influence your children to be able to adopt it. And if children adopt it into their lifestyle from now, then we are going to have a very, very emotionally healthy, mentally fit, and then obviously physically healthy next generation. It's very, very important. If we as a generation who's in the age group of 30, 40, 50, if we are so shaken up, then we do not really cannot even imagine what's happening to those who are in their teens or in their 20s. So it's very, very important to also strengthen them. They are the next human resources of the country. So they cannot be talking about depression in school and college life. When we were in school and college, we were not even talking stress. We did not even know that there is depression. We thought it was one of those things to have, which happens to people sometimes, very rarely. So a lot has changed in 20 years. What we need to do right now is we need to shift our vibrational frequency. Each one of us is vibrating at a certain frequency inside. And this frequency creates the frequency of the planet vibration, because the vibration of the planet is actually the minds of all the people on the planet. We are not individuals, we're not just independent. We are connected to all the minds on the planet. Like the energy field of a house, the energy field of an office. Just visualize four people at home. Now just bring to yourself to your house and see four people at home. What's the energy of the house? The energy of the house is the state of mind of the four people at home. Now, these same four people go to work, but when they go to work, they have different thought processes, and therefore, a vibration of a workplace is different from the vibration of a house. Just bring it before on your screen of mind, your house and your workplace. The vibration of the house is different from the vibration of the workplace. Both are a building, both are just a structure, but the energy of both the places is different because the thoughts and feelings of the minds in both the places. Here, there's belongingness, there is care, there is giving. Here, there is comparison, competition, stress, pressure. So, very different energies. Now, the same four people go to a shopping mall. Vibration is different because our thoughts are different there. And the same people go to a place of worship, go to a temple, masjid, gurdwara, church. Vibrations are different, but it is the same people who go to all the places. But the same people create different thoughts and feelings at the place. And so the energy of the place changes. So, what's the energy of a place? What's the energy of our office where we have to sit 10 hours a day? It's the state of mind of the people. What's the energy of the world right now? It's the state of mind of all the people on the planet. So that is the global vibrational frequency. Now just create a picture. This is a jigsaw puzzle of all the 800, 700 million minds on the planet. And my mind is one of them. Put your finger there and say, my mind is one of them. My mind is influencing the world mind. And the world mind right now is in pain because of its anxiety. And that is not the right energy for the planet. And then we are asking, when is this COVID thing going to get over? When are we going to come back to normal life? The answer lies with us. The planet needs healing energy. And for the planet to heal, the mind of the planet needs to be calm and peaceful, like our mind needs to be calm and peaceful if we want to heal our body. So when we create a shift in ourselves, we're also contributing to healing the world. We're contributing to creating a shift in many, many minds on the planet. So it's a moral responsibility. There are so many people today who are out there risking their lives, risking their families to take care of us. We have to do only one thing: take care of our mind, moral responsibility, because that is influencing the vibration of the planet. My vibration, to say this to yourself every day, my vibration is influencing the vibration of the planet. If I heal myself, I'm contributing to healing the planet. huge responsibility. What is healing energy? Healing energy is high vibration energy. Even as kids, the day we had an exam or an important day, we always told our elders, pray for me, bless me. Even today, we tell them, please pray for me. Today, I have this interview. Today, I have this project. Please pray for me. Now, what was the connection? We need to see the connection because we're going to use that connection then now in this current situation. What was the connection between prayer, meditation, blessing, chanting, affirmation? What was the connection between that and our performance? We were going to give the exam, we were going for the interview. Why should they pray for us or meditate or bless us there sitting at home? Where's the connection? The connection is in the vibration. When someone is praying for us or blessing us, or when we are doing it for ourselves, they create high vibrations, very, very pure, divine, powerful vibrations. These vibrations radiate to us, they energize us, and when they energize us, our performance gets better. This is a simple connection. And the opposite of this, when we get stressed, when people around us get stressed, their vibrations reach us, and this brings down our performance, even though it's a little bit, but it does. And that's why in school it used to be called a careless mistake. Then मुझे सब कुछ आता था, but careless mistake हो गया. लेकिन ये careless mistake क्या हो गई? Careless mistake means stressed mind, nothing else, a stressed mind. So when for a school exam, we could use the power of blessings, meditation and prayer, when we could use the power of these high vibrations for all those little issues and challenges and problems that came in our life, isn't this the time to use that? Isn't this the time to use the high vibrations? And we're all doing it. We all pray, we all meditate, we all create affirmations, but we do it only for some time in the morning. Only for some time in the morning. So 30 minutes, 45 minutes in the morning, very high vibration. During the day, we again go here. Even our vocabulary becomes lower vibration. You know, if you reflect on your vocabulary for the last 3-4 months, we've not been speaking very nicely. We've been saying things like, ये साल तो बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं निकला, कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है इस साल में, nothing is going right. 2020 is not turned out to be a good year. We need to be very careful what we are saying. We need to be very careful. Business तो सारा ही question mark हो गया है. Economy is down. Salaries are going to be cut. I might lose my job. I might have to ask so many people to leave. Every line was here. We know the power of high vibrations, and yet we were mostly creating lower vibration energy. Now the equation is Sankalp se Siddhi, which means thoughts manifest. Life is a manifestation of our thoughts. Our words create our world. What we were doing is we saw the reality and we created the thoughts. The equation is the thoughts we create will become a reality, which means our every thought needed to be a high vibration thought, which will then manifest and become a reality. If I say 2020 is not turned out to be a good year, nothing is right in 2020, so be it. Nothing will be right in my life in 2020 because I'm going to manifest my thought. If I say and if I believe 2020 is going to be a year of miracle, 2020 is going to be my best year as of now, up to now. If 2020 is going to be a year of newness, 2020 is going to be a year of me breaking my comfort zones and doing something completely different, then that's what 2020 will be. If I create a thought 2020 means less resources, less money, then that's what 2020 will be. But if I believe that this year is a year of abundance, I'm going to have a lot, I'm going to achieve a lot, then that's what it will be. But it feels so difficult to create that thought because the world is saying 2020 is not going to be like that. We all have heard stories of miracles, not of history, people in our generation who've created miracles. We may also have created miracles in our life. What is a miracle? A miracle is when the mind does not get influenced by the situation, but the mind overpowers the situation. That is what the world will call a miracle. It's time to open books and read the stories of miracles and then say to yourself, I am going to create that miracle this year. A baby was born. Both the arms, both the legs were not there. What do you think the world must have said that day about that child? What do you think the parents must have felt about that child that day? दोनों हाथ नहीं है, दोनों पैर नहीं है. All the four limbs are not there. What can be the destiny of this child? Everyone around that child that day must have said, इसकी जीवन का तो कोई फायदा नहीं है. This child will be able to do nothing in life. This child is going to be dependent always. What kind of a life is this life going to be? ऐसा ही बोला होगा सबने आसपास. Today, that child whom everyone wrote that child's destiny off, that child travels all over the world and teaches people how to think positive. Is this anything short of a miracle? This is a miracle. But what did that child have to do to create this miracle? Only two things. Not allow the situation to overpower the mind, but let the mind overpower the situation. And second, not allow what people are saying to overpower the mind. Let the mind overpower what people are saying. And we all love these miracles. It's lovely to read them, watch them, and say, wow, what great work. But we can't only watch and read other people's miracles. We're going to create our own miracle. And this year is going to be a year of miracles. So we need to change the way we think and speak. And that is going to be high vibrational thoughts, high vibrational words, and what we create will then radiate and it will manifest and it will become a reality. So our vocabulary, the vocabulary we use for our prayers and meditations and affirmations, we need it to become our vocabulary throughout the day, which means here, not here, here, throughout the day. And when we do that, our emotional health starts building up. And then we're not just healing our mind, we're healing our body, our people, our organization, and the world. So few simple things which we can start from today. First, to remember the equation Sankalp se Siddhi. Sankalp and Siddhi. Thoughts manifest. So we will create only that thought which we want reality to be. सिर्फ वो सोचना जो आप चाहते हैं कि सच हो जाए, वो नहीं सोचना जो आप चाहते नहीं कि सच हो. Only think that what you want your reality to be tomorrow. If you don't want something to happen in your reality, don't think it, don't speak it. Because once you think it and speak it and repeatedly do that, nothing can stop it from becoming your reality. Nothing. आप कितनी भी मेहनत कर लो, उसके बाद वो होगा ही, because we've created it here enough times and spoken it enough times. So sankalp se siddhi, thoughts manifest. Let's create a few thoughts for this current situation. And the sankalp, the affirmation is going to be that, what I want my reality to be. So created 10 affirmations for the current situation, for the current crisis. After that, you can build in your affirmations for that. And then we are going to use these affirmations for at least 1 month. At least 1 month. Result we will see within 1 week. If we do it the right way, we're going to see a result within 1 week. If you do it with your family, you will see the result in your family. You will see their mindset changing. And then of course with our team. So what are the 10 affirmations we can create for the current situation? The first affirmation, I am a powerful being. I am a powerful being. So even if anxiety, stress, and this list is normal inside, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to say, I am a powerful being. Not I should be, I want to be. No, I am. So affirmation means what you want should be your reality. You're going to create a thought that it already is. I am a powerful being. Second, I am a peaceful being, which means anger, irritation. This is out from my lifestyle because this is a depleter. Anger is a depleter of energy. So really, as soon as possible, it's very easy, just a decision, shift to a no anger lifestyle because cannot afford to lose this power. It's time to conserve energy and to increase energy. It's not the time to lose energy. So anger and reactions make us lose our energy. So second affirmation is, I am a peaceful being. Third affirmation, I am a fearless being. Fearless. So when I am fearless, if that is my thought, then I don't get affected by the fear and anxiety vibrations around me in the city, in the country, and in the world, because I've shifted to a higher frequency. I'm a fearless being. So I'm a powerful being, I'm a peaceful being, I'm a fearless being. Fourth, my body is perfect and healthy and will always be. Why are we creating this thought? So that we are removing any thought which was there on the mind which said, what if this happens to me? What if this happens to me? This is very important. If we create a thought, what if this happens to me? Then we are radiating that vibration to the mind and body. That constant fear is not good for our emotional and physical health. So we replace that thought with, my body is perfect and healthy and will always be. Fifth affirmation, very, very important affirmation. And while we create these affirmations, we even visualize them. So the fifth affirmation is, God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. This is very, very important. Create divine energy circle around you. This is a protection shield. This is a Suraksha Kavach. Suraksha Kavach of own energy, thoughts, feelings. So God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. Visualize this divine light circle around you. Sixth thought, nothing can enter into this circle. Nothing can enter into this circle. And nothing means nothing. Not even anyone's behaviors and vibrations. Nothing can enter into this circle. Seventh, God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around my family. Instead of creating this thought, what if? Because they go to the market, because they go to work, tomorrow they have to go to school and college. What if? This is not good energy. We never create a thought for somebody, what if this happens to you? No, they are protected. This is our blessing. This is our affirmation for them. Because when we radiate this affirmation to them, then that is what they will also start feeling. This will become our thought. This is going to become our predominant thought. Our every thought creates our emotional health, our mental health, radiates to our body, creates our physical health, radiates to people, creates relationships, radiates to the environment, and creates the vibrations of the place. These are right ways of thinking. So affirmations will be few, but gradually we will shift to thinking like that always. So here. So nothing can enter into this circle. Then God's power and blessings, circle of protection around my family. They are safe, they are secure. Eighth affirmation, very important. God's power and blessings, a circle of protection around my work, around my organization. We've not said very nice things in the last 3 months about the industry, about the corporate world, about our work, about our salaries, about our business. We've not said very nice things. Even though most of us believe, oh, but it's true. That's why we spoke like that. Yes, but because we spoke like that, the chances of it becoming true are much higher now. So we need to change how we think and speak about it. My job is secure. My organization is safe. Abundance is our reality. Think it, create it, vibrate it, and then manifest it. We do not generate a vibration of lack. We will create a vibration of abundance, So abundance is our reality. Success is certain for us this year. And put a figure, put some mark what you want as your and your organization's definition of success. This is an affirmation for the organization, and then of course for the planet. Power and blessings, purity is a circle of energy around the planet. My world is safe. Everything is beautiful, even more beautiful than what it was before. And the last affirmation, that thing which had come on the planet is gone, it's over, it's finished. We can't keep saying, oh, ye to saal chalega, 2 saal chalega, 3 saal chalega. That's not for us to think like that. It's only a very, very small percentage of people who have to work on statistics and figures of COVID. We don't have to. That's not our role and responsibility. Our role and responsibility is to raise the vibration and change their statistics. Statistics depend on the vibrations of people. Statistics depend on the vibrations of people, on the state of mind of people. So that thing which had come on the planet is finished. It's gone, it's over, is what we need to radiate to that. 10 affirmations. Powerful being, peaceful being, I'm a fearless being, my body is perfect and healthy and will always be. God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. I am safe, I am secure. Nothing can enter into this circle. Circle of protection around my family. Visualize them protected, safe. Bless them with your affirmation. Organization and every member of the organization is safe and secure and protected. Abundance is our reality. Success is certain for us. Protection for the planet. A beautiful, beautiful world. And that thing which had come on the planet is finished, gone forever. Now let's take 10 thoughts. These are only 10 thoughts. You can add your own affirmation into this, an affirmation for health. Suppose someone's going through any health issue. Let's say someone has hypertension or diabetes. We just keep saying so often, "Mujhe diabetes hai, mujhe high blood pressure hai." I'm not going to say it like this. If we say it like this, then that's what the vibration that will radiate to the body. That is what will continue to be there. And that's why most of us believe the disease is going to be there with me for the rest of my life. These are lifestyle diseases. That's why it's called a lifestyle disease. A lifestyle disease is not just about my eating, drinking, sleeping, exercising. A lifestyle meaning ये जो life है यहाँ, इसका style क्या है? Style of thinking, feeling, speaking, behaving. If I change that lifestyle, I will heal my body. So create an affirmation. My sugar levels are normal. Visualize that. Visualize a blood report with sugar levels normal. Visualize the body feeling absolutely perfect and create a strong affirmation daily. My sugar levels, my blood pressure, normal. If any organ of the body is being given ache and pain, visualize that. If there's any issue in relationships, create an affirmation. I accept them. They accept me. We have a beautiful relationship, very strong foundation. We will start healing things. So whether it's about our nature, whether it's about our body, whether it's about our relationships, or it's about the environment and the world, we can create an affirmation. The thought is what you want should be a reality. You create a thought that it already is. Create it, radiate it, and then let it become a reality. Now, how to use these affirmations? When you're creating high energy thoughts, what's going to start happening? This mind will start becoming calm. quantity and quality of thoughts is connected. When we are not creating the right quality, number of thoughts is very high. And that's why we say overthinking. मेरा मन सोचना बंद नहीं करता है. चिंता होती है तो ये बंद ही नहीं होता. शांति होगी, ये slow down हो जाएगा. So when the quality of thoughts is right, quantity is less. Calm and clarity. And when there is calm and clarity, then focus, concentration, natural. It's going to be natural. But if there is a clutter here, there is noise here, solution will be right here, and we will not be able to see it because there's too much here. We will not be able to see the truth. So changing our way of thinking will create a shift in every aspect of our life. How to use these affirmations during the day? First thing is the beginning of the day, which is the morning. Why we started getting emotionally fatigued, not emotionally very fit, because we were leading very tired lives, tired in terms of our mind. The first hour of the morning and the last hour before we go to sleep, these two timings are very, very important. These two times are very, very important for the mind. Now, simple habit, which you can start experimenting from today itself. The first hour of the morning needs to be without consuming the information of the world from our technology. Not keeping the phone right next to us and looking at the phone with half eyes open when we wake up in the morning. The mind is absolutely clean and calm. It's like a blotting paper, clean, ready to absorb what we are going to put on this. And the first thing in the morning, what do we put on that blotting paper? We just switch on the phone and we go like this. Emails, messages, social media, Google News, everything in 10 minutes. We have gone through it. And in 10 minutes, this blotting paper absorbs the world onto the mind. The world could be my workplace, the world could be my messages, the world could be what's happening in the world. In 10 minutes of going like this or 5 minutes of just scrolling, I absorb the world onto my mind. And then I sit to meditate or pray or exercise or yoga. But I've already absorbed the world here. That's vibration is going to radiate to my mind and body. So the first hour of the morning should be without phones. This may seem a little difficult right now because of that deep addiction. It's like telling someone to quit the substance which they've been consuming for many, many years. And they will say, Mera iske bina chalta nahi hai. But we are the generation who've lived without phones. So if we do it, then the next generation will know the way to use the phone. We have to teach them how to use the phone because we are the generation who lived without phones. Some of us could be of that generation who did not even have a landline. I mean, I did not have a landline when I was a kid. So this is not history. And then while we were in school, we got our first landline and we got our mobiles after college. So we have grown up without phones. So we will need to know how to use the phone right for us to be able to teach the next generation that this is only an object to be used, an object which makes our life very, very comfortable outside. But if I don't use the object the right way, then it makes my life here very, very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable. So it's not the phone which is the problem. It's the way I use the phone which becomes a problem. So the first hour, no connection with the world through technology, not even going through work communication. Organizations, business houses, companies, they survived even without phones. Business तब भी चलता था, लेकिन जब से हमारे पास phone आ गया है, every time we seem to want to know what is happening everywhere. This has made our mind very tired. When was the last time that our mind was not at work? We were at home, but our mind was at home, not at work. So whether it was 10 o'clock in the night, whether it was 6 o'clock in the morning, whether it was a Sunday, whether it was a festival, Whether it was a special day in our life, we were with work because of the phone, because of technology. So this does not give our mind to rest, no space at all. And we thought this is making us efficient. If this was making us efficient, then mental health would not be a reality in today's time. It would not. Emotional disease would not be a reality for most of us if this was making us efficient. This is making us emotionally and mentally fatigued क्योंकि हमारा mind पूरा दिन काम पे रहता है. So at least first hour of the morning and last hour before we go to sleep, we have to disconnect from work, disconnect from work communication. No emails, no messages, no phone calls related to work in the first hour of the morning. As an organization, it should be a culture. This should be an organization culture. We will not email, message, call up people after 8 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the morning. Work is only supposed to be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., even if it has to stretch to 8 p.m., but 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But at least give the mind 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. to re-energize, to relax, to strengthen. Only then this mind will be able to be intuitive, creative, and focused tomorrow. If you want to get energetic, vibrant, fresh people to work tomorrow morning, then you have to give them that 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. disconnected from work communication. This is an experiment that an organization has to do to see whether as an organization their efficiency increases or it does not after this. So this is only an experiment. But logically, if healthy, vibrant, relaxed, refreshed people come to work rather than tired, mechanical, auto mode working people, chalo, ek aur din, back to the same work, this can never increase efficiency. And of course, it has a lot of other things which it got into our life from that. So 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., but at least the first hour of the morning, no work communication and no absorbing the world onto our mind. If we absorb the world onto our mind, then we will just keep responding to the world. So we need to take care of that. Then let the first few thoughts of the morning be the affirmations. 10 affirmations, creating those thoughts and visualizing them. So the mind is getting programmed to think like that in the morning. 15 to 20 minutes in the morning of meditation. We can learn meditation and start doing it. Meditation will no more be an option, no more be something like, are you interested in meditation? No more that now. It'll have to become a necessity because it is for nourishing our mind. And 20 to 30 minutes of spiritual study. Spiritual study means consuming content which is pure and powerful. Consuming content of who I want to become. 20 years back, we were not talking about spirituality and meditation. I felt we did not even need it so much that time because we did not have so much content that time around us. So when there was no content, there was not too much going inside. And so emotional health was more or less taken care of on its own. But with media, social media, 24/7 media, digital platforms, content and content and content. Emotional health, if I need to work on it, then it's the emotional diet which has to be checked. And emotional diet is what we watch, read, listen. तीन चीजें हमें हमेशा याद रखनी है. What I watch, read, listen is who I become. Watch, read, listen. So at least 20-30 minutes of a healthy emotional diet. Watch, read, listen. Happiness, power, peace, compassion, gratitude, empathy, acceptance, cooperation, forgiveness, miracles. 20 to 30 minutes inside. Faith. If I absorb content of high vibration first thing in the morning, then I will start becoming that. That's my nutritional diet first thing in the morning for each one of us. Then throughout the day, every hour we pause and we repeat our affirmations, which means we again teach our mind how to think that way. Then the last hour, ideally 2 hours before sleeping, we need to disconnect from work. This is very important. Disconnect from work for 2 hours, which means if I sleep at 10, I have to disconnect at 8. Sleeping time needs to be right. A very, very big reason for emotional and mental health is improper sleep. We thought we could sleep anytime for 6, 7 hours. It's not any time. It has to be at the right time. So 10 to 5 is the right time to sleep. A lot of science behind that, why that is the right time to sleep. But 10 to 5. But today we are sleeping at 11, 12, 1. So we are missing out on the right time, the energizing time. And to sleep right, not just enough, but to sleep right, I have to start slowing down my mind before I go to sleep. We stimulate our mind before we go to sleep. So we are listening to the news, we are watching a crime show, we are with work communication, or we are discussing problems at home in the night. And if we do that, then our mind is hyperactive before going to sleep. Then only the body sleeps. The mind has so much to think about. So at least an hour before we sleep, the mind has to slow down. It has to go from the beta stage to the alpha stage to the theta stage. Then when I go to sleep, it will go into the delta stage. Then I don't need a sleeping medicine, alcohol, or any other substance to go to sleep, deep sleep. So at least 2 hours before sleeping, disconnect from work. At least an hour before sleeping, disconnect from every other negative media, which means anything which stimulates the mind. Last hour before we sleep has to be soothing. Music, pure divine songs, a good video, a self-improvement book, which means anything which is very positive. Spending time with family, but not problem or argument discussion just before sleeping. Your own hobby, writing out a letter, writing your journal, anything like that last hour. Or even simply doing nothing. Just do nothing. Even that is slowing down for the mind. But we have to slow down the mind. And the last thoughts before we go to sleep are affirmations. Because if that's the last thought before we sleep, then those are the thoughts which will get processed for the next 6 hours. So, affirmation in the morning, affirmation after every hour, and affirmation just before going to sleep, and affirmation before we eat and before we drink our glass of water, tea, or coffee. Food and water absorb our vibrations. And right now, the food and water of the city and the country is carrying fear and anxiety. It's in the air, so it's in the water, it's everywhere. So we need to energize that food and water before we eat. And that's why, as children, we were taught to pray before we eat. We were taught to pray because pray karo, which means energize your food with the highest vibration. We used to take water like that, say our mantra, say our prayer, and then energize the food with that water. What were we doing? We thought this all had no meaning. This is all very, very scientific, very scientific. Just go on the net and check water memory. Water absorbs all vibrations, and 80% of our body is water. So we need to energize our food and water before we consume it with those 10 affirmations. So if I say my affirmations in the morning, if I say them before every meal, if I say them before my glass of water, tea, or coffee, and if I say them just before going to sleep, it takes only 10 seconds each time. And 10 seconds, I say at least 15 to 20 times. Then within 1 week, only 1 week, within 1 week, I will start shifting here, shifting here. So this is very, very simple. And of course, I know we all are taking a vegetarian diet right now. It's alkaline. We need an alkaline diet for the body right now, but also a vegetarian diet because it will not carry the vibrations of fear and anxiety of the animal, the vibrations of violence and death of the animal. It's not. It was never right for us, but right now, not right at all. Cannot consume food which has vibrations of violence, death, pain, hurt, anger, fear. Let's experiment with the vegetarian diet for a few months. Will be healthy for the body, but will be very, very healthy for the mind. And eating without television and phone. Mindful eating. Mindful eating. Very, very important. We have to do it and teach our children to do it. No distracted eating. कि यहाँ से खाना खा रहे हैं, वहां से टीवी देख रहे हैं, यहाँ से फोन पे बात कर रहे हैं. Food is nourishment for the body and for the mind. Food eating should be like a ritual. 10 minutes, very, very silent, or just happy conversations. No phone and TV while eating should be a culture of the house. Culture of the house, because the children of today don't even know how to eat without TV there with them. So very, very important to do that. So very, very simple. Actually, they're just simple lifestyle habits of how to think, speak, behave, eat and drink. But this is spiritual lifestyle. And this will make us emotionally very strong, and our thoughts will become our destiny. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Shivani ji. That was very enlightening and very positive session. Thank you so much. We have a few questions.
Sure.
So I would like to read those out one by one. First one is from Ritika Rohini. Om Shanti Shivani ji. I was most attached to my mother, and yes, I had fear for she not with me in life means if she will die. Now she got expired on 14th May unexpectedly and suddenly. So how I can think of the 2020 is good for me? What good I shall feel in that? I'm not feeling, so remains upset for the thought I can't change anything related to that. Kindly guide.
When someone leaves their body, which we call death, it actually means the soul has left that body and taken a new costume. So if you say it's May, and so it is May, June, July, 2.5 months, almost 3 months. Now, 3 months, that soul has already entered the womb of the mother, and the body, the new body of that soul is getting created. Please remember that all our thoughts, all our feelings, all our vibrations from here are reaching that soul. The soul is starting a new journey. For us, it's a pain, it's a vacuum, but for them, it's a new beginning. What would we like to give them on their new beginning? Do we want to radiate pain to them? No. We will always miss them. Yes, that's something we will never, never be able to heal that vacuum. But we can remember them with love. We remember them with peace and power, not we remember them with pain. Not that we are saying, how could you go away? I cannot live without you. I need you back into my life. These kind of thoughts reach the soul and make it very uncomfortable for them. We need to radiate a vibration to them. Thank you and lots of love for the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time of these so many years that I have spent in your nourishment and energy. And now I will take care of myself. You have a very beautiful journey ahead. And I now radiate lots of love and power to you for your new journey. This is love. This is love. Love is not all about how will I live without you. Love is about what should I send you so that you are going to create a very beautiful journey ahead. So if you start healing yourself spiritually every morning, then you will be able to do this for your mother. And this will be the best gift you will give her. She's given you so much in this lifetime. Let's give her something so that she begins her new life on a very, very powerful note.
So much. I have another one from Suchitra. This is Suchitra. My question is, if something goes wrong at work, even if fault is not yours, how to keep a balance in that situation?
Yes, there are a lot of things that can happen in the outside world, and sometimes we could even get blamed for something which we have not done because we are a part of a group of people. It could be at home, it could be at work. But we need to remember for us to heal the situation, Healing is not just of body and mind. Healing is of situations also. When situations get into a conflict, we need healing of the situation. For healing of the situation, we need our mind to radiate the right vibration. One line we need to always remember: truth does not need to be proved. Truth has the power to prove itself. Truth will reveal itself. We need to always have faith in this. Truth will always get revealed. सत्यता के पास अपने आप को प्रत्यक्ष करने की शक्ति है. सत्यता को सिद्ध नहीं करना पड़ता है. सत्यता अपने आप प्रत्यक्ष होती है. So yes, something can go wrong outside, something I haven't done, I'm being blamed for. All that I need to take care that time is not blame somebody else for it, not criticize or be judgmental about people who are blaming me right now. Have faith that they will know the truth, if not today, then tomorrow. And most important, retain my emotional health and put in my best in the next situation that I'm going to cross. That situation is over. It's something I cannot do about right now, but all my energy in this present moment, if that is the right energy, then even if something went wrong last time, my fault or not my fault, even if something went wrong last time, this time it will be perfect. But if last time something went wrong and I'm still carrying that burden on my mind, then this time something not happening perfect, chances will increase, because who's going to do the work is going to be my mind, and my mind is in pain. My mind is in pain, so I cannot radiate my best version to my next task. So whether it's my fault or whether it's not my fault, it's the past moment. My focus should be on the present. कि अब मुझे सही करना है. I cannot hold on to the pain of that present, of that past moment, and allow that to affect my present. So the present is where we need to focus. Second, we don't need to prove ourselves. We can share the information if somebody asks for, but we don't need to prove ourselves. Truth will reveal itself if I'm able to take charge of myself.
Much. That was so nice to hear. Another question I have from Sunita Gupta. People say, thank God my job is safe. All I need this year is to save my job. These are positive statements. But is this positive state of mind, does it create positive vibrations?
Our thoughts are vibrations. Our thoughts are vibrations. What is thought? Thought is an energy. Energy does not stay blocked here. It vibrates, it radiates. It's radiating to everybody. First thing your thought is radiating is to your own mind. Then it's radiating to our body. Why today science and doctors are saying most of the diseases are lifestyle disease. Lifestyle is not just about eating, drinking. In fact, if we go 10 or 20 years back, we were not really doing much to even take care of the body. If you see how much we are taking care now of the kind of food we are eating, our walk time, our exercise time, our gym, our aerobics, our yoga, we are doing a lot. And yet they are telling us it's lifestyle disease, because whatever we are thinking here, it vibrates to the body. If I'm holding on to the past here, if I'm holding on to emotions against people, if I'm creating hurt, if I get upset very easily, then all those vibrations from here radiate to my body. And that's where it creates aches and pains in my body, because the aches and pains is here. It's here. So thoughts vibrate. So when I create high energy vibrations, when we are saying thank you for my job, when we are saying my job is safe and secure, what are we doing? Right now, my job is with me, right? But yet, because I'm hearing so much from people around, what if, what if, what if, what if, agar naukri chali gayi to kya hoga, gayi to my family. Now, I still have my job, but I'm creating those thoughts. What will happen with my job tomorrow? I don't know. But by creating all these thoughts, I'll definitely create an impact on my mind and my body, and also radiate that to my job. I won't be my best version at my work, because I'm not in my best emotional health. So I will create an affirmation for myself, which means I will create a thought for myself. My job is safe and secure and will always be. Will always be. This is going to put a full stop to all my negative conversation in my mind and in my words about my work. What is blessing? Why do we ask people to bless us? Why do we ask elders to bless our children? वो blessings क्या होती है? Blessing means creating those high energy words. आप बढ़िया हैं, आप safe हैं, आप secure हैं, सब कुछ perfect है. This is blessing, and blessings create miracles. So we have to create that blessing to create miracles.
Thank you for this. My next question is from the Jyoti Shankar. My question, whatever you are saying is very true to life. I can relate every bit of it. You are saying it in so ways, but I can't influence others in my family members as they don't want to listen to it. How can I start imparting importance of emotional well-being?
First, most important, we will start doing it in our lives. Even by emotional, even look at physical well-being. Suppose one person in the family takes care of their physical health, has a particular diet or a particular exercise regime. It's not necessary everybody else in the family also follows that. But that one person does it very, 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 very disciplinary. So let's be that one person who takes care of our emotional well-being. When it comes to physical health, if one person takes care of their health, it only benefits them. It will not benefit the health of the other people. But in the case of emotional health, it's very beautiful. If one person takes care of their mind, it has an effect on all the other minds of the family. For example, if one parent takes care of their mind and is very calm, very stable, even if the child is going through some highs and lows, the parent is very powerful. The mind of the parent becomes power for the mind of the child because vibrations radiate. You cannot give your physical health to your child, but your emotional health radiates and becomes emotional health for your child. Your emotional health radiates and becomes emotional health for your team. So this is something which we can radiate to people. It automatically goes from us. If the parent is stressed, then the emotional health of the child gets affected. Today, if we look at the emotional health of many, many children, they get stressed very easily. They get stressed very easily. They can't handle rejection. They can't handle pressure. They are hyper. Chote chote bacche, hyperactivity. Now, from where is all this coming? Within 20 years, why did so much change? And then everybody says, oh, the children, exam, pressure. It's nothing to do with exam pressure. We had more exam pressure than what they have today. That's for sure. We had more exam pressure than them because of our exam system. It's not the way it is today. And yet, anxiety is more today than what it was 20, 30 years back because the parents are not nourishing themselves emotionally. So the child is surrounded by parents and teachers who believe that stress and anxiety is normal, and those vibrations radiate to the child, and the child experiences the same. So don't worry about influencing your family to take care of their emotional well being. Just take care of your own emotional well being. It's like one person in the house only has to be that emotionally strong to be able to radiate that to people, and then tomorrow to be able to inspire them with the transformation we create in ourselves. जो हमारे अंदर चेंज आएगा उसको देखकर वो लोग इंस्पायर हो ही जाएंगे. आज नहीं होंगे तो कल हो जाएंगे, लेकिन तब तक आपकी शक्ति तो उन तक पहुंच ही रही है. So don't worry, your change is giving them power.
So much. That is very, and I can see there is so many positive, great words, very enlightening session. Thanks for guiding the direction provided in this brief session and all. So people who are looking for PDU information, I have posted the PDU information in the chat window. Please note from there. Regarding the video recording will be available on YouTube channel for the session in next few days. Next question that I have from is Praveen. It is so meaningful and great depth of understanding. And another one from Prashant. I want to understand how can one focus at work at a time. I have issue that when I am doing something, my mind wanders to something else, and I shift to that work. How do I control this?
Focus, concentration means the mind has to think slow, think less, and sit in one place. You know, like physically, some people cannot sit in one place. They keep getting up after every sometime, especially if some children you see today, kids, they're not sitting in one place. They're just running around here and there. एक जगह बैठ नहीं सकते हैं. This is called a hyper kid. It is a very hyperactive kid. Similarly, hyperactive minds, not sitting in one place on one task. This is happening due to a lot of content consumption. Too much stimulus. After every few minutes, click, content, content consumption. We need to nourish our minds. And that's for those little lifestyle habits we've taken today will strengthen the mind. It's actually about strengthening the mind, making it stronger. So वो जो छोटी छोटी बातें आज देखी हैं, आप उसको प्रैक्टिस करें साथ साथ, बट साथ साथ आप कंटेंट कंजम्पशन को रिस्ट्रिक्ट करें. You know, we have come from an era where we had no TV. Two, those little half an hour episodes once in a week, and that too very positive content. But it was just half an hour once a week. Then we shifted to a daily episode. And now we've shifted to an era where we have episode after episode. So people will just sit at a stretch and watch like 5, 7 episodes at a stretch. So what is going to happen to this mind by consuming so much content? So please restrict yourself. Please restrict yourself to how much content you consume and what's the quality of the content you consume. आपकी मन की शक्ति बढ़ जाएगी. ये बढ़ जाएगी. आपको 2-3 महीने का सिर्फ ध्यान देना है, ये बढ़ जाएगी एकदम से.
I have next question from Ankita Bhatia. How to deal with relationships in a deadlock, neither progressing for good nor coming to a closure?
Why should we bring the relationship to a closure? We can always heal a relationship. Healing a relationship actually needs only one person to do it. Only one person. We always thought that relationship is about two people. So two people will have to do something for the relationship to be healed. Relationship is always about one person. If one person changes their way of thinking, the relationship will start getting healed because it is our thoughts which reach people. One thing that we've forgotten is our thoughts are reaching people. We thought people can only see what we speak and how we behave. Relationships is not just what is outside. Relationship is how we think and feel about people. If we are critical and judgmental about people in our minds, if we believe that they are not the way we want them to do, then healing that relationship is really needed. So when you start spiritually healing yourself, you will see the relationship getting healed because relationship is actually about two minds. When one mind starts healing themselves, they radiate right vibrations to the other mind and the other mind will start healing. तो आप अपने मन का ध्यान रखना शुरू कर लीजिए, आप अपने रिश्ते को बदलता हुआ देखेंगे, डेफिनेटली बदलता हुआ देखेंगे. But be sure you want to heal the relationship. Don't keep these two options that no, mujhe, I don't want this relationship, I want it to end. If you want it to end, then you cannot heal it. But if you want to heal it, then you really can heal it just by working on yourself for an hour daily, like we discussed today, for at least 2 months. आप 2 महीना कीजिए and आपको 2 महीने के अंदर अपने रिश्ते के अंदर चेंज आना शुरू हो जाएगा and from there the journey begins.
Next question I have is from Sitpal Singh Patel. When I pray, I am focused on prayer. But when I closing but when closing I to pray, my mind fills with lot of thoughts. How to control it?
You can experiment with not closing your eyes when you're praying. Really, actually, we don't need to close our eyes to pray or to meditate, because when we close our eyes, sometimes our mind starts wandering. So, why do we need to close our eyes to pray? Let's open our eyes and pray. Nobody really said we have to close our eyes to pray. भगवान को याद कर रहे हैं, इतने लोगों को सारा दिन याद करते हैं. जब लोगों को याद करते हैं तो आंख तो बंद करते नहीं है. तो भगवान को याद करने के लिए आंख क्यों बंद करने की जरूरत है? एंड और एक और रीजन ये है कि वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू प्रे ओनली इन द मॉर्निंग फॉर 10 मिनट्स. वी कैन प्रे एनी टाइम ऑफ द डे. परमात्मा को तो कभी भी याद कर सकते हैं. तो उसके लिए आंखें खोल कर करेंगे तो और इजी हो जाएगा. So just experiment with your eyes open, and along with your prayer, also have your personal conversation with God. कई बार ये होता है कि mind क्यों wander करना शुरू करता है? Because we are saying the same thing every day. They are very, very high energy words. Prayers means every word is a very, very high energy word. But sometimes we are saying the same high energy words daily. So it's like, suppose you're going from home to work, home to work, home to work daily. तो अब वो रास्ता तो आपके अंदर यहाँ फिट हो गया ना. तो आप बिना इधर उधर देखे आप घर से ऑफिस तक पहुंच सकते हैं. ऑटोमेटिकली आप इधर उधर का सोचते हुए भी ऑफिस पहुंच जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो ऑफिस पहुंचने का रास्ता आपके यहाँ प्रोग्राम्ड हो चुका है. You could be thinking of something completely different and you will reach work. And when you will reach work and you will say, oh, मैं पहुंच गया क्या? But you were actually thinking something different because you've been going on that road every single day. Similarly, that's what sometimes happens with prayers. अगर हम वो ही शब्द रोज बोल रहे हैं, अब वो शब्द हमें याद हो गए, तो वो हम शब्द बोल सकते हैं और यहाँ से माइंड कहीं और जा सकता है. तो इसलिए प्रेयर के साथ साथ आप अपनी बात भी परमात्मा से करें. Have your personal conversation with God. God is your parent, your teacher, your guide. You can talk to God about everything. So along with your prayer, also have your personal conversation and keep your eyes opened. Then your mind will not wander.
Shivani ji, and I can see Anshul has posted a summary, which is great. Thank you, Anshul. Oh, I think we've reached the end of this session. We'll take one last question and then we'll call it a day. So there's a question from Vishal Gupta. Do human beings have any document depicting the laws of nature or universe?
Do human beings have any document? I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. But maybe that everything that our religion and spiritual masters are teaching us, we have all that documented. It's coming to us generation to generation. But it's just that sometimes when it passes from one generation to the next, sometimes we don't understand the deeper meanings of what is being taught to us. And when we don't understand the deeper meaning of that, then we're not able to implement that in our life. So if we understand the deeper meaning of the spiritual principles, of the laws of karma, if we understand that, then that is our guiding compass. You know how we use a GPS to travel? GPS लगा लो तो गाड़ी चलाना कितना इजी हो गया. पहले क्या करना पड़ता था? इधर रुकते थे, उधर रुकते थे, भैया यहाँ से कहाँ जाना है, वहां से किधर टर्न करना है. अब हमारे पास जीपीएस है तो हम यहाँ वहाँ वहाँ वो बोलता जाता है, हम अपना गाड़ी चलाते रहते हैं. वो हमें ये भी बता देता है यहाँ पे ट्रैफिक ज्यादा है, आप यहाँ से जाओ. So life becomes very simple. So GPS means there has to be a compass which is guiding me as to what is the right steps to take in my way of living, my way of working. So spiritual principles are that GPS. It is that guiding compass, and we need to have that guiding compass of spiritual principles, of our own values and principles, of our own ethics. We don't need anyone to tell us what is right and wrong in terms of our values and principles and ethics, provided we don't get influenced by what society has called right and wrong. right and wrong of society is changing. So we need to hold on to what we know is right and wrong and ethical. So our values, principles and ethics, those are also our guiding compass. बस हमें उसके guidance के अनुसार चलना है, and we will be leading a right and powerful life.
So much, Shivani ji. If you allow, I can take one more question.
Sure.
Okay. So this is a question from Deepti Sharma. How to stay constantly motivated and work towards additional you want to achieve despite you are involved in regular daily activities?
The more you will keep your mind energetic, fresh, vibrant, the mind gets tired. So many of us say, I'm very tired, but it's actually not the body which is tired, it's the mind which is tired. Because most of us are not doing anything which is physically draining. But because we are not taking care of our mind, we're doing a lot which is emotionally draining. So we feel very fatigued. Another reason to be fatigued is that too much use of screens and content consumption. Too much content consumption makes the mind tired. Too much being engaged with screens makes the mind and the brain tired. So we need to just take care of those little things. If the mind is vibrant, fresh, and energetic, if you're taking care of your that first hour of the morning, last hour of the day, if you are not reacting to situations and wasting your energy, हम बहुत एनर्जी वेस्ट करते हैं व्हेन वी आर जस्ट रिएक्टिंग टू पीपल एंड सिचुएशंस बिहेवियर्स हम बहुत एनर्जी वेस्ट करते हैं व्हेन वी आर सिटिंग एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट अदर पीपल we just in an era when we're saying we don't have time, we waste so much time and energy thinking and talking about other people. Thinking and talking about other people is the biggest depleter of energy and of time. Because when we're talking about people, we just seem to find something which is not right in them, which we keep talking about. And since the time we have social media, we're thinking and talking about everybody. We have an opinion about everything that is happening. This is depleting our emotional health. So, feedback, yes, constructive opinion, yes, but if we get entangled into a negative vocabulary, then this is depletion. आप करके देखिएगा ये कि I will not think, speak, or I will not even listen to anything negative about people. You will have so much energy and time after that. एंड जितना आप अपनी एनर्जी को बचाएंगे उतना आपका टाइम बच जाएगा और जितना एनर्जी और टाइम बच जाएंगे आप बहुत कुछ कर पाएंगे apart from your normal work you'll be able to do so much more because mind is energized.
Thank you so much, Sister Shivani. This is Sunita.
Thank you.
I would like to just do a quick note of thanks for being with us today and always supporting us. You have an aura. We probably know all of this, but at times we just don't realize that we have to use it. So yes, you have that aura that inspire us to do it and not just know it. So really appreciate that. We have a lot of participants who shared many thank you notes to you. So on behalf of all of them, I would like to say that, yes, you did help us. You do help us change, transform, and shift. And yes, we will really appreciate listening to you. We do have, so just for everyone in the call, we do have a YouTube channel. So you can follow Sister Shivani's YouTube channel. She has some very insightful messages there, very short-lived, 5 minutes, 10 minutes in your time. You can start that in your morning thoughts and it will really help transform. And now I'd like to announce our next webinar, which is on 22nd of August. It is about managing global projects using in the open source world. It will be presented by GitHub. We have the senior leaders from that organization conducting that webinar for us. So save the date and we'll start seeing some communication coming on that topic. With the last note, I'd like to pass it to our president of North India chapter, Mr. Manoj Gupta. And sir, final words, please.
Sorry. Om Shanti, Sister Shivani. This is Manoj Gupta.
Good
I,
afternoon.
good afternoon. I was watching this webinar from the beginning, and it was a very insightful and wonderful session which we had. And not taking much time, I would just like to thank you for taking your time and giving this wonderful session to all of our members. I would like to thank on behalf of the North Indian Group and for doing this session and also being a speaker for our national conference 2 years back. So this is our second interaction, and it has been wonderful as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani, from all of us here. It was a great session.
Thank you,
Have a
Chief.
great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.